from the Fox 5 studios, this is Silver State Sports Live.
All right, excitement is building not only across the valley, but across the country as football season is officially upon us, and we're getting you set for it. Welcome into Silver State Sports Live. I'm Mike Davis.
And I'm Mariah. Janos, as the Rebels continue to prepare for Week 0, the Raiders are just over 24 hours out from fully suiting up and hitting the field at Allegiant Stadium for the first preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals. Raider Nation got a taste of what that first game will look like last night as the Silver and Black hosted the annual open practice at the Death Star. 11,000 faithful fans filed into the building to see the new look Raiders work out. All eyes on the quarterback room, of course, and all three of them took reps, showcasing what they can do. It served as a solid primer for Clint Kubiak and his team ahead of tomorrow's game.
And we are now joined by Fox 5 and Silver State Sports Director Kevin Bollinger. Kevin, good to see you. You got a front row seat to last night's practice at Allegiant. Tell us about your biggest takeaways. What stood out to you?
You know, it was a normal practice that we see every day at the facility. They just are very efficient in how they do things and just kind of get through things left and right. You talked about the quarterback situation. Fernando Mendoza did throw a pick last night, but it was off a deflection. So, not necessarily something that was going to like raise any type of red flags. But we're seeing also Kirk Cousins just be consistent in what he has done all throughout training camp. A lot of that comes because he's a veteran. A lot of it also comes because he already had a handle on this offense from when he worked with Clint Kubiak in Minnesota. So he was able to kind of have a comfort level. But Kirk Cousins certainly has been very good all throughout this training camp. And then there's been some ups and downs with Mendoza, but that's expected with any rookie.
Yeah, now looking at, not just because you mentioned, this is really just another practice like you guys have seen all camp thus far, but is there anything looking at the sample size of camp through last night that could be a cause of concern, but maybe it's just a little too early to tell?
I think the offensive line not being settled is there's still a lot of competition going on at positions. You have center's pretty much locked in, and left tackle with Colton Miller is locked in. I think everything else is still got some competition layers to it. Some people would say that's a good thing. Some people would say that's unsettling, that they would want that unit to gel over these preseason games. So it'll be interesting to see how they rotate guys in throughout the 1s and 2s, starting with the preseason game tomorrow night against Arizona and moving through the other 2 in Houston and then against the 49ers.
Okay, so now we know, listen, Clint Kubiak, all these NFL guys, John Spytek and your great one-on-one with him, they don't reveal their cards, okay? They're not supposed to do that, but we don't really know what's going to happen, how much Kirk Cousins, how much Fernando we're going to see. What's your expectations for the first preseason game?
Well, Clint Kubiak did say that the starters are going to play. There was a trend for a while there where they didn't play the starters in the preseason and all to save them. That's kind of gone away, and a lot of the younger coaches are now making sure that those starters get enough reps. So I anticipate most everybody to play. They may keep some guys out who are coming back from injuries to bring them along, whether it's Max Crosby or Colton Miller, those types of players. But if you're going to be playing in the season opener, you're going to be playing here in the preseason. They want to kind of see what you can do. I would imagine that the ones, if you will, if Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback right now, he'll see a series or 2, and then I think you'll see Fernando Mendoza play for the better part of the rest of the first half, and then they'll go on to Aiden O'Connell from there.
Well, you just mentioned the O-line, and it's just not set yet. They're still trying to figure out what combinations work for that starting 5. Aside from that, though, what do you think will be the most telling part of these upcoming preseason contests, all 3 of them?
I think, my eyes, everybody kind of focuses on the offense right now because of Mendoza and the quarterbacks and stuff. My eyes are going to kind of go over towards the defense because they have changed the scheme under Rob Leonard with what they're going to do, and there's a lot of moving parts with that, and they're going to get a better look at an Arizona team who already has a game under their belt because they played in the Hall of Fame game.
It was a good game.
And so I think that's going to be a good test for this defense. I kind of want to see how they're moving players around, especially on the back end, and seeing what they're going to do. There's a lot of position competition going on the defensive side of the ball too. And that's the part that kind of gets me excited about the preseason.
Okay, now is there anything Fernando Mendoza can do in this slate of preseason games to really just steal the job right from Kirk Cousins? Do you think if he played out of his mind, he would get the #1 job no matter what?
Well, I mean, I think it really does come down to competition, and you have to earn your spot. But at the same time, they have talked pretty openly about their preferences to have a rookie quarterback sit and watch for a little bit. And the fact that he did come out and say Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback coming into training camp, he would have to be unseated. From what I've seen so far in training camp, that hasn't happened. So it's going to take something monumental, knowing in these preseason games that the starters aren't going to get a lot of reps and snaps because they're only going to play 1 or 2 series. Mendoza would have to blow them away. But I think they like the progression from what they've seen from Mendoza, but they want to just keep seeing that progression as it goes along, however many weeks it's going to take.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see how it all plays out, especially here in preseason. Kevin, thank you so much. And we are going to get you set for those preseason games, all 3 of them right here on Fox 5 and Triple SEN. Raiders pregame live, the first episode coming tomorrow ahead of that first preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals on Fox 5. We're getting you set 4:30 all the way up to kickoff. Myself, Kevin, Vince Sapienza, we're going to be holding it down. Be sure to tune in.
All right, thanks so much, Kev, for being with us. Still to come on Silver State Sports Live, the Aces are back in the win column to kick off their homestand. We got the highlights after the break.
This week on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Your Triple SEN lineup is sponsored by AAA Roadside Assistance. Visit AAA today.
You're watching Silver State Sports Live.
All right, so coming off of back-to-back road losses, it was imperative for the Aces to get back in the win column last night at the house.
Yeah, lucky for Vegas, they kicked off a 5-game homestand against the Washington Mystics in the most ideal way, with all 3 of the big dogs, A'ja Wilson, Jackie Young, and Chelsea Gray, available and ready to play. We're going to pick things up midway through the first. As Becky says, good things start on defense. Jewel Lloyd steals it away. She feeds Jackie Young, who lets it go from the wing. She stops, pops, and drops it in, gets the and one. The silent assassin was cooking with 13 points in the first quarter alone, on the way to a 25-point night.
All right, Aces enter the second up by 3. This adds to the separation right there. Chelsea Gray with the no-look pass to the corner to Nia Watson. Finishes to add the bench production, tied up at 41 at the half.
And she took a minute to heat up, but by the third quarter, A'ja Wilson was cooking, going to work in the post, puts it up as part of her 26-point game.
And in the fourth quarter, the Aces were able to close this thing out on the strongest note as the point guard whips it. A no-look behind the back dime to Jewel Lloyd for the finish at the rim. The Aces take the first of 2 games against the Mystics with a final score of 86-76. Here's Becky Hammond after the win.
We were disruptive early in their offense a lot of times. I don't know what their normal post touches are per game, but we wanted to dig into that. I thought they, it's a heavy dose of their identity. Is getting deep post catches. We wanted to limit those. When they did get it in there, they hurt us a little bit. And a lot of times it's just getting their own misses. It's really hard to block out when they're that close to the basket. And the miss is like pretty much less than a half a second you have to react and block out. So, I think there's some things we can clean up. I think there's some things that we did well. But that team puts a ton of pressure on the rim all night. And it's just, that's who they are.
All right, keeping it in the W, after coming under fire for not coming to the defense of Sophie Cunningham, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White had some choice words for the media in yesterday's pregame press conference ahead of their matchup against the Liberty. Things got hot. Take a listen.
For those who have anything to say about the play in the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. I take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back. I ride with them 10 toes down all the time. All the time. They know that. It's a shame that we can't have an opportunity to talk about what great basketball they're playing. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as powerful as Mel Gibson's speech in Braveheart.
Stop.
But you go first, Mariah, because I have a lot of thoughts.
Well, first of all, kindness will win, and then she tells us all to go to hell, which is so fair. I mean, she's fed up, she's feeling attacked, but also you should have defended your player in the first place. I don't care if you saw the play or not, which you did. How did you not? It's your job. You're on the court. You're right there. You saw the play. I understand maybe it didn't come out right, but no matter what, you should be defending your player. But I think there's two parts of this because she kind of took this in a completely different direction. I think if she had just come in, owned it, and said, after reviewing it and sitting there and talking with my players, it was egregious, and go on her little rant about how, Sophie almost lost her head there. But then to take it into the direction of the online discourse and all of that, those are two separate issues.
Yeah, I mean, she took it political. Here's because I was trying to formulate my thoughts ahead of this show, so I was doing my research. So for everybody at home whose mind is spinning currently like mine, this is what happened. Stephanie White originally backed an opposing player on that hard foul on her own player of Sophie Cunningham, okay? Then the following game, she comes into the arena, the Indiana Fever, the fans start booing their own head coach because she's backing a player from another team. I mean, this is Coach 101. Even if the call was correct, you don't, admit that. You always take your locker room. You always take the back of your player. So that was really strange. So then she backtracks. And if you're reading that press conference like me, it didn't seem super genuine. It seemed like it was stemming more from frustration.
She's angry.
She's angry at, the discourse. She's angry at the flack she's taken. She's angry at the heat. So I don't think she was so frustrated about, the protection and safety of her players. It seemed like she's frustrated with the situation. Now, it's puzzling. Of course, the Indiana Fever are a team always in the news, constantly in the news with Caitlin Clark, with Sophie Cunningham, political things. It's a sad situation because the WNBA, the game has gotten so good. There's so many high-level players on the floor, and the basketball is such a high-level game now that for it to be constantly political and constantly all these things, it just takes so much away from the game. Now, Stephanie White, she also played at Purdue. She's from Indiana. So this is an Indiana girl through and through. And for the Indiana Fever fans to be, giving her flack, booing her, that says a lot. And I just don't know a lot of coaches who would just initially take the viewpoint, the side of an opposing team, an opposing player. That's really strange to me.
It wasn't the moment to be Switzerland. And it wasn't even Switzerland because she was leaning towards Dejanay Carrington, and I understand maybe she has a personal relationship with her as well, but it was just really weird the way
let's be real. Come on. You guys are tuning into the show because you want us to be real. She could also be not standing up for Sophie because of political comments she made.
Well,
and let's just call a spade a spade.
Down to.
So it's weird because you would think, listen, the locker room, the relationships, the coach-player relationship, that dynamic should be sacred. And regardless of what Sophie Cunningham's political views are, as a coach, you should always be backing your players as an organization and just being a leader in the locker room. So this is just what's the drama of the week of, the WNBA. And unfortunately, for people who are just trying to be fans of the game, there's constant discourse from a political standpoint, and it's very frustrating. It's hard for me to keep up.
Yeah.
How much I got to watch Real Housewives Salt Lake City. I got to watch Real Wives OC, Beverly Hills, all these things, and now it's like, how do I even keep up with the WNBA?
It's very true, and I think what's so telling, though, is that after the game, after Indiana took care of business against New York, the first thing Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham did was stick up for Stephanie White and say it made us sick that our coach was booed by our own fans. Why couldn't their coach have done the same thing for her players? It's just wild. And here's the thing. It's also, the Fever are playing really well right now. Despite all of this discourse and all of these headlines, what's actually happening on the court, where Stephanie White was correct, is there is great basketball being played. The Fever have only lost 3 of their last 10 games. They're cooking right now, and they are climbing the standings with each game that they play. And I think that's why maybe Stephanie White has a little more job security here, because despite these headlines, the team is still doing well. What's going on the court, she is a good coach.
And this is where the commissioner needs to step up.
Well, she's got to go too.
This is where she needs to step up big time.
That's a whole other issue.
Listen, I'm getting a fever from this whole conversation.
Yeah.
Do you have a Robitussin for me?
Of course I do.
Okay.
We've got everything for you.
I got to go get some
You're
Robitussin.
fragile.
We got to go to the break.
All right, coming up, we're going back to the gridiron. We're going to fall camp because it continues for UNLV. We'll hear from the offensive line room next.
You're watching Silver State Sports Live.
All right, more football news now. Thank the Lord in heavens above as we go to the Fertitta football complex to catch up with the Rebels.
Yeah, thank Hashem, right? The Scarlet and Gray had one of the highest powered offenses in the entire country last season, and we can expect that to continue in 2026. Ahead of fall camp, we learned that UNLV is moving senior O-lineman Austin Boyd to center after spending much of his college career at guard. Today, we heard from him about how that transition has gone with the help of his offensive line coach, Louis Adazio.
I definitely feel like I'm processing things a lot faster, obviously making that transition to center. Just understanding the offense as a whole. I got to get everyone on the same page. I'm the quarterback up front. So just processing things, I feel a lot smoother. Getting everyone on the same page, and we can play fast that way. It's all about a mentality, a mindset. We're a unit. We stick together. Everything starts and ends with us up front. So, he's instilled that from when he came here in the winter, and we've just taken that and run with it. And it's been a part of our mentality going all throughout fall camp.
The A's now dropping the second game in the series against the Rays. The guys are now 2-8 in their last 10, falling to 47-73 on the year. The green and gold nearing the end of a matinee game in the series finale today, and they take on the Rangers this weekend.
So the A's have had 6 players make their major league debut this season, which is crazy. One of them is Tommy White, who has hit his way into making the jump to the show, and he's showing no signs of making an exit anytime soon.
Yeah, Kevin Bullinger has more on that.
Make that a 4-hit game for Tommy White, and this is impressive.
Tommy White has powered his way to the big leagues in a hurry. Las Vegas fans got an early glimpse of what White can do when he hit this bomb during spring training at Big League Weekend. But he started the season in Double-A Midland and proceeded to hit .301 in 21 games to earn a call-up to the Aviators.
And White hits it. There she goes. Way back to left center and gone.
Where he hit .303 and collected 47 RBI in just 55 games before the A's pulled him up to the show. White says he never thought of getting fast-tracked. He just put his head down and did the job.
Nobody really expects the call or anything. It's just, you play the games that are in front of you and the next pitch. So that's all I was thinking about was the next pitch. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it was very unexpected, but happy that happened.
How you Lee on the ground, diving, stopped by White. Spins, throws to first, a high throw, but McNeil is able to jump up and get to the bag quick enough.
The call came during the All-Star break. White was home with his family in Florida when Aviators manager Fran Reardon popped up on his cell phone and told him that he was starting the second half in Sacramento.
It was awesome. I got to spend the whole day with my family. I got to tell them in person, which is pretty cool. Yeah, they were super happy, and it was just a good day all around.
Family, friends, and even his college coach from LSU flew to California for his first big league game, and they saw White get his first big league hit.
1-2, line drive to left center field. That's going to drop down. Young to cut it off. White's going to stretch it. Sliding in safely.
Attaboy.
His first big league hit is a double in the bottom of the 8th.
It was pretty special. I mean, you know, having my parents out here, a couple buddies, it was really cool that they got to experience that too. I mean, it's what you dream of.
Since then, White has put up some multi-hit games while playing both first and third base for the A's. He fits the organization mold, someone with high-end offensive skills who can play multiple positions. That's a recipe that will keep Tommy Tanks loaded and ready for bear to stay in the big leagues for good.
And keeping up with the local baseball news, Nevada's Paseo Verde Little League team is advancing to the Mountain Region Championship. The kids took down Alpine, Utah 4-3. This positions the team with just one victory away from qualifying for the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The regional title game takes place this Friday at 2 p.m.
All right, coming up, Derek Carr. He's got a new gig. I'll tell you which team the former Raiders quarterback is helping out now.
You're watching Silver State Sports Live.
All right, so Derek Carr played 9 seasons for the Raiders in the NFL, and although he played his last 2 years with the Saints, number 4 will forever be a Raider.
But he's also taking on a new role, lending his football expertise to the college world. Carr is set to become a special advisor to UCLA football and head coach Bob Chesney. The plan is for the former NFL QB to help the Bruins coaching staff with game planning strategy as well as working with the quarterback room. It's a big-time move for the team as Chesney is entering his first season with UCLA after leading James Madison to the college football playoff last season.
Yeah, UCLA football, it's going to be a good era for them. This is a good young coach. You get Derek Carr helping out with the game planning, the strategy. We know how smart of a guy he is. They're going to be positioned pretty well, the Bruins.
Also, a fun fact about UCLA, their cafeteria cookies are phenomenal.
They're better than Diddy Reese. If anybody knows about Westwood, they're a ripoff. They're like this big.